second doubleheader of the 2024 season, the Super Sweeper returns, and we will be running in the reverse direction. Turn 3 is going to be our turn 1 for today, and we'll open up a lot of wide open space, and once you make it out of turn 1, you'll be shot straight through the 90 and into the Super Sweeper, which is a long sweeping left-hander and then shoots you straight into the 180, which is very difficult going backwards, so you really need to know what you're doing. Good morning and welcome to another very chilly day here at the Gateway Kartplex for our second doubleheader of the 2024 season. I am still pretty ready. I didn't get a lot of testing in prior to this race just due to my schedule. The conditions over the past couple weeks weren't really a great example of what today would be like because it is cold today. And we got a few things we need to do with the kart before it's ready to go. We need to change out the engine oil because I didn't have a chance to do that on my testing day. And then we also need to swap out that clutch because I took my clutch from the last race home with me and I cleaned it at home. And so that needs to go back in there. We're going to be running the same clutch, same setup. And so we're going to knock those things out real quick. We got plenty of time. And then we should be all good to go today. Changing the oil on these karts is like my kryptonite. I don't understand how, but somehow every single time I change the oil on this thing, I manage to spill it in some way, shape, or form. I even put towels underneath it just in case something goes wrong. It's probably still going to get on the I would call that nothing short of a masterful oil change. We did the entire thing and spilled almost nothing. That funnel and that, literally it's a bread pan. That bread pan doing its job, and I am finally doing it right. Well, there are a couple little splatters right there, but you didn't see anything. Okay, driver's meeting is done, and our mission is complete. We have put the oil back in the kart, that is changed, and then we have put the primary clutch back on the engine. So we are now all good to go. All we have to do is clean up the kart and lubricate it, and then we should be ready to roll for practice 1. Since today the conditions are almost identical to the conditions we saw in the last race, I'm just going to go with the if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach. So I'm going to go out on the exact same setup that I did in the first practice of the last race. Right now it's in like the 40s. I think it was around the same in practice 1 last time. So we're just going to go out on this for the last run group again. And hopefully it should feel just as good. And I'll make adjustments throughout the day as needed. So we'll head out into practice 1 and see how it feels.
I can smell you.
Alright, our first 2 practice sessions of the day are done, and we finished up 16th in the first session and 14th in the second session. So, pretty disappointed about that. That's less than ideal. The field is very, very close today just because of how simple the track is. Most of the field is within a second of each other, and I don't know what the delta was in practice 2, but in practice 1 I was like 8/10 off the leader. The track was very slippery in practice 1, so I was quite a bit off the pace. Made some adjustments based on what some other people had suggested to me, and in practice 2, felt a little bit better, but it still feels like on corner exit, my kart is kind of washing out a little bit. It kind of goes into a 4-wheel drift that I can't really control no matter like what my entry or exit is, like speed or line wise. So I looked into that and we did find something. So I read Seth, he has like a little, almost like a setup book for the Ignite kart. And it said something about like how if your kart has too much grip, if it feels too stuck, then you can adjust caster to kind of like change that. Obviously mine's the other way around, but adjusting caster. With the Ignite kart, that involves moving the spindle. But with my kart, you guys probably can't see it because it doesn't really want to focus, but it has a fixed caster. So you cannot adjust the caster on my kart because this little washer thing right here has a circular hole in it. Whereas on most of the other karts, has a little, they can adjust the caster like forward and backward. And so that is probably where some of that difference is and where I'm losing some stability on corner exit. So that is something I will look into in the future. That is not something I'm going to worry about today, but we're going to be rolling off at the very front of the slow group in qualifying. So I'll be running in clean air. And we're going to try and get it in the top 10. Track position is going to be pretty important because of the limited passing opportunities this track has. But best we can do is what we can give. So let's go into qualifying, see what we can do. Alright, and that is our qualifying session done, and we finished 14th. So, not great, not happy with that. We did pick up some time from practice 2 to qualifying, but it meant absolutely no difference in our position. I don't know where we're losing so much time. The kart actually felt better that time. It felt like it was a lot more dialed in. I could hold the line that I wanted to a lot easier. And from what I got from people watching from the outside, I just lost everyone else, so I was just running in clean air the whole time. Most of the pack is fairly tight. There are 2 people up front that are just like 3/10 clear of everyone else, not sure why. But I think we are in a good enough position. I think we got some pace where we can fight for a top 10. I don't think we're in the danger zone. If we are, then we're right on the edge. There are some people around me that I trust, so I think if we can just play it smart and keep it clean on the start and survive lap 1, then we can fight our way up to the top 10 hopefully. And hopefully we can come out with a better result today. I'm a bit disappointed with how today's been going so far, given how last race went. But I feel like we've got a lot more potential, and I feel like there's a lot more I can do as a driver to catch up, because I feel like if the kart feels good as it is, then there's got to be a lot that I'm missing from a driving standpoint. So we'll just take it into the race, see what we can do, and hopefully we can bring home a top 10, or who knows how far we can go.
88 machine, starting up front with Riddle.
And James Vance is qualified before he gets on the track.
Scott McClellan Jr. in the Bobby Cruz Racing Services kart number 51. He'll start in 9th with Davis Worley in 10th.
And I'm Zach Buchanan.
Jake Weinberger in the race. Isaac Wells in the Schaefer's Motor Oil kart number 121. He will start in 13th, followed by...
Hi, I'm Bobby Cruz. I can't fit my ego into my YouTube videos. Hi, I'm Nathan Levenhagen. I got a drone, and now my track tutorial looks way cooler now. Also, Bobby Cruz Racing Service.
number 3 is done, and there is a lot to unpack from this race. So we finished 9th out of 26 karts, which, considering where we started back in 14th, and that there are very, very limited passing opportunities on this track, very good. Glad we got into the top 10. And, even better, since the qualifying for the second race is based off of the fastest laps from the first race, we are going to be starting the second race in 4th. We jumped up all the way from 14th to 4th, a 10 grid position jump from race 1 to race 2, purely based off of how fast our pace was in the first race. So I'll actually be starting right behind some of the front runners, and I legitimately have a shot for a podium and a win. So that is super awesome. And this kart wasn't even completely set up right, because I was helping Seth fix his kart after a Masters crash, and I forgot to reset my tire pressures. You probably saw at the end of the race, Lane Mayer almost got past me. That's because my tires fell off a cliff because the pressures were too high. So I'll need to go down on pressures for the second race. But the balance feels great. This kart feels like an actual go-kart again. And we're going to see if we can bring home a win today. I feel like we can do that. So let's get going into race number 2.
Well, it's been a great day today. Look at this. He's got Cardinal Riddle right in front of him and a bunch of clean track. Is today going to be the day that Nathan gets his first podium, or will it be a win? We're about to find out.
Well, it happens. So we were disqualified from race number 4 due to a rear bumper incident. So basically what happened was, on the first lap, I actually washed out a little bit in the 180 and had a big moment on corner exit, and I ended up clipping the outside wall. At first I thought I hit it on the rear axle, but then it felt fine, so I was like, oh, it's probably all right. Turns out it actually hit the rear bumper, and it probably pushed it out a little bit and broke it loose. And eventually, on like lap 11 or 12, I just saw a piece of my own bumper laying on the inside of the track, and then the next lap they prepared a nice old meatball flag for me, so that was awesome. At least we know we have the pace now. If we don't make mistakes like that, then we can definitely run up at the front. I definitely feel like we could have fought for a podium or a win in that race. I just made a mistake that I shouldn't have made, and I paid the price for it. So we'll come back next time stronger. I know I say that all the time, but one of these days has got to be our day. And I know that we are making massive improvements, and so far, aside from this DNF, we haven't finished outside the top 10. So we are making forward progress. We'll see you next time for the 5th and 6th races of the Ignite season, and we'll see if we can bring home that long-awaited win. See you then. Peace out.